The sandworms of Dune are awe-inspiring, reaching unimaginable lengths and boasting incredible strength. Picture this. Beneath the dunes, vast tunnels crisscross the landscape. These tunnels house a multitude of sand plankton, tiny organisms that absorb water and nutrients from the sand. And guess what? Sandworms have a craving for these elusive morsels. Let's take you on a journey deep into the heart of the Dune universe, where sandworms hold paramount importance. These colossal creatures are more than mere beasts. They are the architects of this desert planet's entire existence. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Exploring the unique diet of sandworms in Dune. As you may already know, sandworms are colossal creatures that roam the vast desert expanses of Arrakis. They are the true masters of this harsh environment. But have you ever wondered what these titans of the desert feast upon? Before we dive into their diet, let's take a moment to appreciate the remarkable anatomy of these magnificent creatures. Sandworms are segmented in structure, with a rigid exoskeleton that allows them to glide effortlessly beneath the sands. Their enormous maws have rows of razor-sharp teeth, ideal for breaking down their peculiar sustenance. Well, they have an appetite for sand. Sandworms have specialized filters within their mouths that allow them to extract vital nutrients from the sand. They consume enormous quantities of sand, breaking it down internally to remove valuable minerals and microorganisms that serve as their primary source of sustenance. Sandworms possess a unique enzyme within their digestive systems known as melanges. This enzyme helps break down the abrasive particles of sand, neutralizing any harmful effects on their internal organs. It's an evolutionary adaptation that allows them to thrive in this extreme environment. While sand forms most of their diet, sandworms occasionally consume other creatures inhabiting Arrakis. Desert-dwelling fauna such as the desert mouse and smaller sand-dwelling creatures are often devoured by sandworms. However, their primary sustenance remains the nutrient-rich sand itself. How do the sandworms attack humans? Are humans a part of their diet? Sandworms, also known as Shai Hulud by the desert nomads, are colossal worm-like creatures that dwell beneath the surface of the desert. They can grow to immense sizes, some reaching up to a jaw-dropping 300 feet long. Sandworms are remarkable predators, but contrary to popular belief, they do not consider humans part of their diet. These creatures primarily feed on microorganisms and sand plankton within the desert's vast dunes. So, if humans aren't on their menu, how do these sandworms attack? Well, let's dive deeper into their hunting tactics. As the sun sets and the desert cools, these colossal creatures emerge from their burrows for sustenance. With their specialized sensory organs, sandworms can detect vibrations in the sand caused by the movements of potential prey. When they sense vibrations, they rapidly tunnel through the desert, relying on their incredible speed and strength. Their jaws are equipped with razor-sharp teeth and powerful muscles, enabling them to seize their prey quickly. Although they're not explicitly targeting humans, their pursuit of smaller animals may inadvertently lead to encounters with unsuspecting adventurers. In rare instances, if a sandworm senses vibrations caused by human activity, it might surface to investigate. This can be a terrifying experience, as these creatures can cause substantial damage to vehicles or structures if they mistake them for prey. Why are humans harmful to the sandworms? The answer lies in the sandworm's digestive system. They possess highly specialized enzymes and stomach acids to break down and extract nutrients from their preferred diet. Unfortunately, humans don't align with their digestive capabilities. The human body comprises complex proteins, fats, and other substances that sandworms struggle to digest. Attempting to consume humans could lead to severe indigestion, blockages in their digestive tracts, and even fatal consequences for the sandworms. Sandworms have evolved to be highly efficient in extracting nutrition from the microorganisms and sand plankton they consume. They have developed a symbiotic relationship with these tiny creatures, relying on their abundance in the desert to sustain their massive size. Deviating from their natural diet to consume humans would disrupt this delicate balance and ultimately threaten the survival of the sandworm population. What would happen if a sandworm consumes water? Sandworms are known to have a unique adaptation that allows them to survive in the harsh desert environment. Their specialized system allows them to extract moisture from the surrounding sand, enabling them to thrive in arid conditions. But what happens if a sandworm comes into contact with water? Does it have any effect on these desert giants? To answer that, let's explore two scenarios: when a sandworm encounters a small amount of water, and when it consumes a significant volume. In our first scenario, imagine a sandworm crossing paths with a small puddle of water. It's important to note that sandworms are primarily adapted to survive without direct access to water. When a small amount of it comes into contact with their skin, it doesn't pose an immediate threat. The sandworm's specialized skin, covered in a thick mucus layer, helps to minimize water absorption. The mucus is a protective barrier, preventing excessive moisture from seeping into the sandworm's body. The sandworm's respiratory system has evolved to extract oxygen from the surrounding air rather than water, so a small encounter with water should be fine with their breathing process. Now, let's move on to our second scenario, where a sandworm consumes a significant volume of water. This could happen if a sandworm mistakenly swallows a large body of water or accidentally ingests a creature containing a substantial amount of moisture. Consuming a large quantity of water can have severe consequences for a sandworm. The excess moisture can disturb the delicate balance of their internal systems, causing them to experience discomfort and even potential health risks. The sandworm's body is not designed to handle excessive water intake. It lacks the necessary mechanisms to process and eliminate the surplus liquid efficiently. This can lead to bloating and dehydration, which might even threaten their survival in extreme cases. Sandworms have evolved over millions of years to adapt to their arid environments. While they can tolerate minimal contact with water, consuming a significant amount can overwhelm their system. For their well-being, they must maintain a careful balance between moisture and their desert-dwelling adaptations. Water poisoning occurs when water comes into contact with the sandworm's skin. The intense osmotic reaction in the sandworm's tissues causes a rapid and uncontrollable expansion. This expansion ultimately leads to the rupture of the sandworm's body, resulting in its death. The precise biological mechanism behind water poisoning in sandworms is not fully explained in the original Dune series by Frank Herbert. Due to their vulnerability to water, sandworms actively avoid water sources and stay in the vast deserts of Arrakis. This behavior, coupled with the fact that they dwell deep beneath the sand, makes capturing and extracting the spice melange from the sandworms a challenging and dangerous task for the inhabitants of Arrakis. The concept of water poisoning adds a layer of complexity to the ecology and biology of the sandworms in the Dune universe.
These outsiders, the Harkonnens, came long before I was born. By controlling spice production.
How do the sandworms create spice in the Dune lore? Arrakis, the third planet orbiting the star Canopus, is a harsh and inhospitable desert world. Scorching days, freezing nights, and relentless sandstorms make it a formidable environment. However, beneath its unforgiving surface lies a hidden gem that has fascinated explorers, scientists, and enthusiasts for millennia: the spice melange. The spice, with its unique properties, is the lifeblood of the interstellar empire. It enhances mental and physical abilities, extends lifespans, and even allows for interstellar space travel. But how is this precious substance created? Well, it all starts with the colossal creatures that roam the desert plains: the sandworms. The sandworms of Arrakis are titans of the deep desert, reaching jaw-dropping lengths of hundreds of meters. These immense creatures possess unparalleled physiological adaptations that enable them to traverse the arid landscape easily. Their serpentine bodies are encased in impenetrable armor-like scales, while their mouths, lined with razor-sharp teeth, allow them to consume virtually anything that crosses their path. But not just their size and ferocity make the sandworm genuinely remarkable. These awe-inspiring creatures are intricately connected to the process of spice production. You see, beneath the desert lies a vast network of underground tunnels, and within these depths, the spice melange takes shape. The sandworms do not naturally produce spice, but are a byproduct of their life cycle. The worms consume sand and other organic matter found in the desert, which they process within their bodies. The metabolic processes of the sandworms cause the transformation of this organic matter into spice, which is then excreted in their waste. The sandworms possess specialized organs or symbiotic microorganisms within their bodies that interact with the organic matter they consume. These internal processes could involve the breakdown and transformation of the ingested material into a highly complex and potent substance like spice. Another possibility is that the sandworms possess unique enzymes or biochemical pathways that enable them to extract and synthesize the beneficial properties of the desert ecosystem into spice during their digestive processes. However, another theory suggests that the creation of spice, known as melange, is intricately tied to the life cycle of the sandworms. When a sandworm dies, its body breaks down and transforms, becoming part of the desert ecosystem. During this process, the remnants of the sandworm's body interact with the sand, and the sand phytoplankton, creating the precious spice. Arrakis boasts an intricate web of ecological interdependencies, and the sandworms play a crucial role in maintaining this delicate balance. They serve as the guardians of the spice cycle, perpetuating its production through an incredible symbiotic relationship with microscopic organisms called sandplankton. The sandplankton dwelled within the vast oceans on Arrakis eons ago. As the planet transformed into a desert, these microorganisms adapted, burrowing into the sand and becoming dormant, waiting for the right conditions to thrive. As we conclude our exploration of the sandworm diet, we are left with a sense of wonder and awe. The sandworms of Dune remind us that nature has an uncanny ability to adapt and survive in the harshest of environments, utilizing resources in ways we could never have imagined. Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary journey into the mysterious diet of the sandworms in Dune. If you found this exploration as fascinating as we did, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay tuned for more captivating adventures in sci-fi and fantasy.